According to Russell Brand, actor and comedian, the mentality and behavior of drug addicts and alcoholics is wholly irrational until you understand that they are completely powerless over their addiction, and unless they have structured help, they have no hope. I'm going to persuade you that rehabilitation for drug users is a better option than prison for the criminal justice system and the general public. For those of you who disagree with me, I want you to consider jailing drug users as not effective or just. I want to show you an alternative to putting drug users in jail. For those of you who may agree with me, I would like you to absorb some facts and statistics from this speech and use it in your everyday life when you talk to people about this topic. In high school, I personally went to a drug rehabilitation center and successfully rehabilitated. So I have, plenty of personal data to use and to think about while using this. For the jail part of it, I went online. I went on researches and studies, and that way, I could fully comprehend that part of it too. I'm going to show you how rehabilitation could save money, help overcrowding in prisons, and produce more reformed citizens. The first point is the money savings in not incarcerating drug users. As you can see here, it shows that a yearly treatment of methadone for heroin is $4,700, and a year in prison incarceration is $24,000. So you can see that there really is. So according to Newswise.com, who did a study and a model, if just 10% of eligible prisoners were sent to community-based treatment programs rather than prison, the criminal justice system would save $4.8 billion when compared to current practices. Diverting 40% of eligible offenders would save $12.9 billion overall. And reincarceration of drug users, the savings are driven by immediate reductions or incarceration, reductions in the cost or incarceration, and by subsequent reductions in the number of crimes committed by successfully treated, diverted offenders, which leads to fewer rearrests and reincarcerations. Criminal justice costs savings account for the extra costs of treating diverted offenders in the community. So for those of you who may think that sending drug users to rehab is actually more expensive than sending them to prison, it is actually costing us more to keep them in prison where they are not receiving help. We have been informed on how money can be saved. Now let's go over how rehabilitation could help our overcrowded prison system. Here you have a picture of a California prison, and you can see that it is completely overcrowded. And unfortunately, that is what these people live in every single day. And in California has some of the most severely overcrowded prisons. The U.S. Supreme Court has actually said that it is cruel and unusual punishment to be in the California prison systems. This is a violation of our 8th and 14th Amendments. The prison system in Illinois is capable of holding a little over 33,000 inmates. And in 2012, there were 49,000 inmates incarcerated. Iowa prisons are overcrowded by 25% above capacity, and staff members were reduced in 2009 from 3,064 to 2,820. This is all from study.com. And they went through and did studies on states of overcrowding. And according to 538.com and the Bureau of Prisons, there are 207,847 people incarcerated in federal prisons. Roughly half are in for drug offenses. And according to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, there are 1,358,875 people in state prisons. Of them, 16% have a drug crime as their most serious offense. That is 50% in federals and 16% in state prison that is there for just drug use. for drug crimes. Moving these prisoners to a rehab facility could help our severely overcrowded prison systems, as well as help the prisoners. As you saw where they were in those bunks, they're not going to get the type of treatment that they need. I've talked about prison overcrowding. Next, I'll tell you about how rehab better reforms citizens. And according to newswise.com, nearly half of all state prisoners are drug abusers or drug dependent, but only 10% are adequately treated. They receive medically based drug treatment during incarceration. Untreated or inadequately treated inmates are more likely to resume using drugs when released from prisons and commit crime at a higher rate than non-abusers. 40 to 60% of people who go to rehab are successfully rehabilitated, compared to the 10% who get treatment in prison, according to evergreendrugrehab.com. And you can see a very nice drug rehabilitation center here. And my personal story, when I was in high school, I became addicted to benzodiazepines or anxiety medication. And before I got in trouble with the law or did anything that got me sent to prison or jail, my family stepped in and sent me to a in-house treatment center. And this action most likely saved my life and turned my life around. And I've been able to stay clean from drugs. I've been able to enroll in a welding school. I've been able to get a job. And if I'd gone to prison, my story would be much different, completely different. I don't even know where I would be. So we've been given convincing evidence that drug users should be sent to rehab instead of prison. I have done this by telling how rehab will save money, cut down on prison overcrowding, and produce more refined citizens. Unfortunately, when people get involved in the criminal justice system because of drugs, their life goes on the downhill. I had a cousin who in high school, he got caught with a small amount of weed, but because of what happened, he was sent to court. He failed his drug test in court and was unable to finish high school. He is now living probably on the street. We don't hear from him, and he doesn't have his GED or anything like that to help him succeed in life. So unfortunately, when the law gets involved in drug users, this is typically what happens. So I ask all of you to speak up and challenge the norms. Challenge those who want to incarcerate someone with an affliction. We don't put those who try to commit suicide into prison. They go get help. And that is what we need to do with people with addiction. A quote by Sheldon Whitehouse: "Addiction is a tough illness, and recovery from it is hard but noble path. Men and women who walk that path deserve our support, encouragement, and admiration. They don't deserve to be in prison." Thank you very much.